Hi again, welcome back to Videocast 4 on transforming meetings. So you've decided that the meeting is required, you've decided who you want at the meeting, you've turned your agenda items into questions, you've got an overarching question to reach your outcome that you want to drive towards for the meeting, and you've sent any information or papers out well in time for people to digest the information you want them to think about. Now it's time to bring people together either on the phone, in the video conference, or physically in the room. So you start by welcoming and appreciating the people for coming and attending the meeting, because you value them, you value your thinking, you've hand selected those people you want to come to that meeting. They need to know that. It helps their thinking, it makes them feel valued. In fact, they are valued. You start the opening round with a question of what's the success, what's going on well for us just now, because 9 times out of 10 people will come to meetings to solve things that aren't working, things that we need to fix, things that aren't going well, things that we need to change. Great, we'll get to that, that'll be on the agenda. But we start the round with an appreciation of something that's going well. What are the group successes or individual successes round the room? And we go round the room with that. Once we've done that, we introduce the agenda items. We've got our overarching question, which will remind why we're gathered together, and then you'll have your sub-questions, your sub-agenda questions, and you simply go around one at a time. So you get the agenda item question confirmed, you confirm it. If there's a presentation required to put information in about that, you do the presentation without interruption, as long as it's not too long. If it's a long presentation, you bite it into small chunks and you do clarification rounds after each small chunk. If it's a short presentation, you let the presenter present the information, and then whoever's chairing the meeting, you have a clarification round on the presentation. Any questions to make sure that the group are clear on what's been presented and what they'll be expected to think about. This isn't a point for discussion. That will come when we actually put the agenda item question round the room. Once that clarification round's done, you have your first round. You state the question that you're doing, and then you set the direction for it. So for example, whatever the agenda item question might be, for example, how do we create the best Halloween party ever? Whoever starts will go to the left or right, and that goes round the room, and you let it go. If it's time bound, you set a time on that, and you have 30 seconds to come back, or a minute. Whatever time you want to allocate to that round, you set that at the same time. So you set the question, put it in the middle, and set a direction, and then see who picks it up. Once it's gone round everybody without interruption, then it's open for discussion. It's easier to have no interruptions when we're doing a round. Where it becomes difficult is in discussion, especially when discussions get heated, but it's really important that we manage that as the chair or the facilitator of the room to make sure that when people are in open discussions, they're not getting interrupted, especially if it's a heated moment, especially if it's something they want to go off their chest. Everybody will have the chance to come back at that, so in open discussion, really look after the fact that there's no interruptions. After the open discussion, if there's another round required on a refreshed question, then again you state the question, you set the direction, and then you go round. If there's another discussion required, you have it with no interruptions. If there's no other discussion required, then it's time to look at decisions, actions, and next steps. Once that's done, it's on to the next agenda item, and it's repeat that process as many times as possible until you come to the end of the agenda items. Once you've completed all the agenda items, then you have what you might call a burning issues round. Is there any issues that come up during our meeting that are really have got heat in them that we want to investigate further? If so, we put them on the agenda for another meeting, we decide to have something offline, we decide to take it out the room, but we don't ignore them. If they're burning issues that came out of the meeting itself, then we note them, we take them forward, and everybody knows that there is an action to take them forward. Once you've cleared that up, then you have a closing round. And the closing round is like the beginning. It starts with something you appreciate, it finishes with something you appreciate. Now you tier that to match your group. You know your people, you know what sort of level of appreciation they can give for each other, either as colleagues, or appreciate the thing, appreciate the time we've spent together, appreciate a light bulb moment, appreciate the usefulness of the meeting. We finish with a round of appreciation the same way we start with a round of appreciation. Once we've done that, we close the meeting, and then it's time to celebrate and move on, because we've finished on time, we've got the agenda items done, we've created a process where people are energised, they've felt engaged. They felt engaged because they are engaged. Transforming meetings make a difference. It takes time, it takes practice. It's a framework that once your group are used to using it, the framework runs itself. But until then, the chair holds the reins and ensures that the process and the framework is adhered to, because if it isn't, then you don't get the full value. If it is, you get the most robust thinking and creativity possible you can out of the group of people you value and you brought together.